I'll now recognize myself for 5 minutes. Mr. Doherty, what do you believe Congress does not have a right to see?
I have full respect for the oversight and the constitutional duties of the Congress with respect to that. So I'm not sure exactly.
Is there anything that you believe the Congress should not be able to see?
I believe that when we're going through a process of trying to figure out records, how we all can accommodate each other's sort of interests in making sure that Congress is able to do their oversight job fully, completely, and unhindered, and at the same time recognize to some extent some of the considerations, the interests that we have as an agency, particularly since we owe our people some privacy.
Would the gentleman
from South Carolina.
Would you agree Congress created the whole Inspector General apparatus? That's not constitutional in nature. It's statutory, right?
I would agree that Congress not only established the IG, they established the United States Secret Service in 1865.
All right. Good point. We did both. So Congress, if they wanted to, could do away with all the Inspector General's next appropriations process. If they wanted to. They don't, but they could, right?
I understand.
So why would Congress have to wait until an Inspector General concludes an investigation before Congress can get in line to gain access to information?
What information are we talking about?
Any information.
Yeah, Howdy.
It is routine for people to sit at that table and say, we cannot cooperate with an ongoing congressional investigation because there's an ongoing Inspector General investigation. It is routine for that to come from witnesses at that table.
The information under both the February 2015 letter and the June 2015 subpoena has been substantially complied with, but for one, document production, and also the ultimate.
What is your, why not complete production under the subpoena as opposed to substantial? Why do you get to make that determination?
I'm not making that determination. What I'm saying is basically
the Secret Service has the Secret Service fully complied with the duly issued subpoena from Congress?
We continue to owe you materials. We have been doing.
When are we going to get it?
Well, first of all, it's been the committee that basically inserted additional document requests that they prioritized over this.
It was issued in June, I believe.
It was issued February and June, yes.
Okay. So why have you not fully complied with it?
It's tens of thousands of documents. We are relatively one document production away.
You are taking extra time and work. I'll give you an example here. In this particular document, just on page 4 alone, there's 21 redactions.
I don't know which document you're referring to, Chairman.
All right. We tried to do this. This is the Bartlett file. Why do we get redacted documents?
I have not seen that document, so I can't refer to that document.
Go ahead.
Specifically.
I'll show you a copy of it.
What I'm saying, Chairman, is
why should I get any redacted documents? To my original question, what is it that Congress should not be able to see?
So even on Wednesday and Thursday of last week, I was sitting down with committee staff to try and resolve this issue.
You don't want to go there. Mr. Doherty, you do not want to go there. I want the documents. We have a duly issued subpoena, and I expect you to fulfill it without redactions. If you think there's a justification for redaction, tell me now.
So the anonymous document, the anonymized document that we gave you, which lays out sort of all the various sort of categories of information about these particular files, and we gave that to you yesterday. We thought that that would help you be able to sort of parse out and target what particular files you particularly want to discuss in more fully in an informed way.
You are making decisions that you should not make. When I issue a subpoena, you should fully comply with it. It's not optional. You don't get to parse it out and hide things. When you have 79% of the Secret Service saying that your senior-most leadership is not honest and trustworthy, we have a problem. Then we're going to go peek under the hood. When you have more than 10% of your level 15, GS 15 and above, who have problematic backgrounds in that they've had to go through investigations of themselves. Since they've been agents, you have a problem. When you hand us a document with nearly 30 people and only one of them says it's unsubstantiated, we have a problem. When you have Cartagena happen, and there are 8 incidents since Cartagena, and then they continue to get promoted, at least I think it's 5 of them continue to get promoted, we have a problem. We get to do an investigation. So to my original question, what is it you think Congress has no right to see?
Chairman, we're trying to basically sort of lean forward. And I'm looking at the
My simple question is, are you or are you not going to comply with the subpoena?
and that is why we were having a discussion with staff.
I don't want to have a discussion anymore. We've been talking about it for nearly a year. I want the documents. Are you or are you not going to provide them?
And there was discussion on the table in which to accommodate that. But the list that we gave you.
You really want to have you want to talk about the discussion that you proposed?
Would the chairman yield for a moment?
Yes.
Just humor me and give me an idea of what those discussions would be about. What privilege are you asserting that would prevent you from making information available to the entity that created your department, your agency?
So I'm not standing here in a position as an attorney here because I've not served in that role at the Secret Service in the very
Well, that's
long time,
okay.
since 2003.
You don't have to be an
So
attorney to know why you're not turning stuff over.
I'm not asserting a privilege, Mr. Gowdy.
Well, if it's not
What
a
I'm effectively
privilege,
doing is having a practical discussion about the information that furthers and advances the committee's oversight.
all right,
And effectively bringing us
but I
to
want
positive.
I want you to hear those words from our standpoint. Let me tell you what I hear when I hear you say that. We're going to decide what we think you need.
And that's not.
So, but that's what you just said, that advances the committee's work. We may get to decide what advances our work. Would you give redacted documents if it were a grand jury subpoena or a court subpoena? If that branch of government sought documents, would you go through and redact them before you gave them to a judge?
I think that's a good example, but I'll take a different example. That is in terms of normal discovery. Oftentimes, courts will say, we're just generally decide.
Please tell
what
me you are
documents.
not treating Congress like a criminal
I am-
defense attorney. I am begging you to please tell me that's not what
I'm
you're
not,
doing.
Mr. Gowdy, what I'm saying is basically the discussions that we had as late as last week, I thought we're going towards a creative resolution to this particular issue, what ultimately was going to give the committee the place where they wanted to be on this.
Well,
And I think
but
if
what
we had
I hear
more
the
time, we
chairman
would have been able to get
saying,
there.
what I hear the chairman saying is the place he wants to be is exactly what he asked for. Hence, there really is no more need for negotiation unless you have a legal privilege or some constitutional precept you are standing on to not allow the branch that created your agency to see documents. Then what is the discussion about?
The discussion is about ultimately what is fair to individuals as well. Look, if you have a child come home and basically they do a fender bender, you basically sort of put them on timeout or whatever, and then you ultimately give them the keys back. This is exactly the same situation. We have individuals who have engaged in misconduct, but it doesn't mean necessarily that's the end of their career. They basically continue to go forward, just like we treat our children.
Well,
that's basically what we're talking about.
Don't you think the father of 3 would be able to
I'm a father of 3
appreciate
as
that
well.
analogy? Then why can't you give us the documents and then make the analogy?
Let me recognize the ranking member, Mr.
Yeah, I just
Chaffetz.
want to make sure